Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Vulnerability Hangover. I am your host, Nikki, and you can't see him, but Enzo is here, our emotional support pup. There he is. There's Enzo. Um, hey, hey, how y'all doing? I'm very sorry I took a year off. That was completely unintentional, but don't worry. I do have an affirmation for you guys. And my affirmation is pretty basic. It's gonna be I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best. So, there you have it. The drink of the day is just water. I didn't really feel like having a special drink. I need to stay hydrated. So, where did I leave off? I think my last episode, a year ago, was talking about how I got back on antidepressants and I am still on antidepressants. I am on Wellbutrin, also known as bupropion, and honestly, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I feel so much better. The reason why I unintentionally took a year off was because I had a vulnerability hangover. I know that sounds funny because that's the whole point of this podcast, but I started over analyzing a lot of the stuff that I was putting out on the internet, and it's not like I would take anything back. I feel like there was a couple episodes that if I could, I would redo completely. But now after I've analyzed everything in my life and even considered not continuing this podcast, I've realized that this podcast does really bring me joy, and I do think that it's a passion project that I want to continue doing. And I do want to have guests on, of course, but I think they're not going to be as frequent as my own episodes, and I'm not going to make any promises with how many episodes I'm going to be putting out a month, and I don't want to promise that it's going to be out on a certain time just because I don't want to set any expectations. But I'm back, and I do have a couple episodes that I'm going to be recording this week that I'm looking forward to sharing. I want to circle back to talking a little bit about vulnerability and how I want to continue being vulnerable on this podcast, but also saving stuff for myself and like the close people around me. I think that it's great that I started off putting a bunch of things on the internet, but at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, anyone could research me and look stuff up and figure out the certain things that I've done or that I've been through and judge me on that. Like, I worry about it affecting my dating life just because I have had people that I've dated in the past look me up and find my podcast, and I don't necessarily think that they judged me for some of the things that I put out, but I don't like that they just know all this stuff about me right off the bat. But it is what it is. That's the whole point of why I started this podcast. I also was struggling a little bit with holding space for other people, meaning my guests. And I think it's mostly because I focus so much on other people rather than myself. And I'm finally at the point in my life where I'm putting myself first. And I know I've said that before, but genuinely, it's so hard to put yourself first. It's so hard because I am such a people pleaser and I want everyone to feel comfortable around me and feel like they can open up and talk to me about things, and I want to be able to be a safe space, but I'm holding so much space for other people and not enough space for myself. So I took the whole entire year off, and honestly, I just isolated. I had to do it for my self growth. I cut a lot of people out of my life. All I was doing was work, focusing on myself, and being a hermit. I did not go out at all last summer. I didn't really do anything super memorable, but I'm not mad about it. I really tried to focus on my social media. I was trying to find a brand for myself, but honestly, I am just accepting the fact that I'm so multifaceted and I'm not supposed to be tied to just one thing. I try to go the route of being this trophy wife aesthetic. I'm just trying to figure out what my brand is. I know Enzo's part of my brand. I know astrology is probably a part of my brand. I know being vulnerable is a part of my brand. But the whole like cooking and cleaning stuff, yeah, that's not what makes me happy. I love being a barista. I'm not a barista at the moment. I want to open up my own coffee shop. That's about as far as we're going to go with anything that has to do with food or drinks. Along this little journey of finding myself the past year, I realized that I just needed something that was stable and consistent. And I wasn't going to get that with how I was living my life prior. I was in survival mode. I feel like the past 6 years of my life, I have never been able to actually sit and focus on what I need to be doing to better myself, heal mentally, and get over some traumas that I've dealt with in my life, and figure out who I want to be with and who I want to be friends with. Because you know the saying, you are the 5 people that you hang out with, which is why I cut a lot of people out of my life. You guys know I stopped drinking. It's almost 2 years now, and I'm going to do an update on how I feel about being sober for 2 years, and I've cut caffeine out. I don't go out and do anything. I've just really seriously been focusing on myself. It sounds boring, but it is what I needed. I needed something stable and normal. And my stable and normal, although like every day, there's always something different. But my day to day has always been me, Enzo, occasionally talking to friends on FaceTime or hanging out, and work. That's all. And that's something that I'm going to continue doing and continue focusing on, I think, for the next couple of years. I'm just trying to set my life up to be successful. And I'm in kind of a weird lull right now in every part of my life. I don't know entirely what I want to do for a career. I had my real estate license. I still have it, but it's not something that I feel fulfilled doing. I mean, I love the commission checks, don't get me wrong, but it's an expensive industry to be in. The housing market is crazy right now. It's a lot of fucking work. And it's not that I don't want to work, but I don't want to be working every fucking day. I'm tired. I'm tired of that hustle. I want to be able to make money in different ways. I really want to focus on social media, and it's just always something that I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel. I knew I was going to start this podcast eventually, and I might have some other podcasts in the making too. There's just a lot that goes into it. I know eventually I want to be opening my own coffee trailer, but I also don't see myself living in Oregon all that much longer. I have had dreams of being in the sunshine literally since I was a kid. I love summertime here in Oregon. It's absolutely beautiful. I even love springtime in Oregon, but it's still cold. I love being warm. And I always pictured myself in a place like SoCal or Arizona. Arizona was like the main one for me, but I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth with Arizona just because personal reasons. I do have friends down there, but I really think I want to start over somewhere in SoCal. I love San Diego. I've been visiting there a lot, and I may or may not be moving there. I'm not going to make any promises, but it's definitely something that I want. Another thing that's kind of taken a back seat has been my relationship life. I have dated a couple people here and there, but nothing has stuck. And it seems like every time I get into a relationship, I just allow myself to have my standards go out the window. I start off really strong. I always have boundaries set up. I try not to show all my cards right away. But man, as soon as I get to that like 1 month mark, I'm just like, here's everything about me. Please don't leave me. Here's all my trauma. And it scares people away, I'm pretty sure, or they can't measure up. Like, I hold people to such a high standard and they can't meet that. And it's just unrealistic. Well, Enzo left me. He's like, I don't want a dog dad. I don't need a father figure. I also feel like, excuse you. Anyways, Enzo just burped. I also feel like my past relationships have made an impact up to, the people that I've dated so far. I will say each person that I have dated gets better and better. So I know my person is out there. I just don't know when I am going to meet them. And it kind of sucks because I am a hopeless romantic. I love people so much. Like, it's so hard being single. And don't even get me started on the dating pool out here. I know my person does not live in Oregon, too, by the way. I do not like the guys here. I'm so sick and tired of playing the girlfriend role and the boyfriend role at the same time. And the mother role. Why am I having to take care of you? Why am I teaching you how to treat me? It's not that hard. Open the car door for me. Open the door for me. I like being taken care of, and I think that guys like that because guys like to take the lead with a lot of things. Acts of service is my main love language, and it's not like I want people to be my little minions and do every single thing for me, but it does feel good to have someone around that does the little things without me having to ask. My dad is very big on acts of service, and I've been very spoiled. I really want someone to be like that, be like my dad, in the way that I don't have to ask them to do something. They just do it. Or they're doing something and they think of me. Like, for instance, they're going to the store, Trader Joe's, and they're like, yeah, Nikki loves those cookie butter Trader Joe's cookies. Right now, I'm going to go pick those up. And then I'm gonna grab some flowers. Men, buy the flowers. Buy the fucking flowers. I don't care what anyone says. Women love flowers. I know I do. That is the sweetest thing. It's those little acts. I just love it. And I think that scares a lot of guys away. They're not ready to take care of a woman in that way. And I can take care of myself. I can do things myself. But I like being able to just shut my brain off and know my man has it. My man can handle it. I know that when I'm walking down the street with my man, I'm safe. He's walking on the outside of the street. That's important. He's opening the car door for me. He's opening all the doors for me. And he's paying for dinner. He's taking care. Men, in my opinion, are there to provide and protect. I'm talking about a heterosexual relationship right now. I do like being treated like a lady, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that I should have to ask for that kind of stuff. It should be expected. I expect it. I expect that you're going to be a man and treat me like a lady, and then the rest follows. It's not like there's no benefits to doing that kind of stuff for your person, your woman, your girlfriend, your wife. But I like being taken care of and knowing that I'm safe and secure because my man got it. And yeah, I'm repeating myself, but guys like that role. Guys like knowing that they can take care of you and that you're happy. I guess what I'm trying to say is I love matriarchy, and that's what I expect. And that was really hard for me to ask in other relationships. I always felt like I was a burden because I would ask them to do small things like, oh, hey, can you fill my water bottle for me? Can you run downstairs and grab me some popcorn while we watch this movie? Can you make my morning coffee? You know how I like it. That kind of thing. I feel like it was really hard for those guys to grasp. But, like I've said, each man that I have dated and gotten to know keeps getting better. Although the last two are kind of neck and neck. I can't tell which one was worse. Like, eventually they show their true colors, you know? It's like the 3 rule. 3 days of talking, you go on a date. Let's say 3 weeks, you talk about making it official. 3 months, you're evaluating if you want to be in this relationship. And that's usually how long things last. For me, I think the longest that I've gone with like seeing someone was 3 months. Yeah, I've just had situationships here and there. And it's really hard for me to walk away. I never used to be like this. Truly, I think my last relationship did a number on me, and that's going to be in an upcoming episode as well. I don't want to give away too much, but I have a really hard time walking away, even if the red flags are there. Like, as soon as the red flags show up, I'm wearing rose-colored glasses, so they look normal. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to walk away because I always see the potential in people. When you're first getting to know someone, they always have their best foot forward. And so I fall for the potential in what they say. And maybe some of their actions show here and there, but they never measure up to the standard that I subconsciously put them on, the specific standard, and the standard that they set for themselves in a way. A lot of guys are like, oh yeah, I love taking care of my woman. And then they end up resenting them for that. They're like, I'm so sick and tired of paying for everything. Or, you can open the car door for yourself for once. Those are younger guys usually. I also have noticed this pattern of attaching myself to emotionally unavailable men who have mommy issues of some sort. And again, that's going to be another episode where I talk about men with mommy issues and enmeshment. I think the emotionally unavailable comes from people pleasing. Like, I always want to do better for my partner, and then I drop all my self-respect and I just let them walk all over me, and my emotional needs are not being met. I'm a very deep person. I feel a lot. I have a lot of emotions. I'm very intuitive. So the second that my partner stops showing interest in me, or like shuts down, or no longer is communicating in the way that I'm used to, no more deep talks. For me, deep talks are like foreplay, you know? No more telling me how their day is or what they're going through. The second that they start to close themselves off, I'm like, oh, no. And then I drop everything. I start to panic and I'm like, what can I do to get that again? And it just is like, when you start to chase them, they start to pull away even more. But when you pull away, they start coming back. Like, I see that a lot in my relationships. Because attachment styles, I used to always think that I was an anxious or disordered attachment style, but I actually took a test and I have a rare attachment style. My attachment style is anxious preoccupied, and I think it is basically, I hope I'm not botching this description, but it's basically where you play this push and pull with a partner and you completely lose yourself in them because you do everything to try and please them. I do that a lot in a lot of my relationships. There's not always give and take. There's usually people taking from me. And I know it's because when I was younger, I just always wanted to be accepted. I was bullied as a kid. I just wanted to fit in. There were so many times where girls in particular would like go and make plans without me, even though I was a part of the quote friend group. And also not getting my needs met by my caretakers too. And it's not their fault. I've accepted a lot of the stuff from my childhood and I don't want to go deep into that stuff because I don't want to speak for my caretakers, I guess you could say. I have a hard time getting the attention that I want, and so I go about it in a very negative way. Like, I over sexualize myself. I'm trying to not do that. I've been really good about not doing that though. I'll also drop everything for the person just to make sure that they're feeling good and they're okay. Like, if my partner's having a bad day, it affects my day. I hope that's explaining my attachment style, but I'm still learning about it. Maybe I'll do another episode when I do more research on it. But yeah, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep attracting these partners? And why do I keep doing this in every single one of my relationships? Sometimes I just feel crazy. Am I crazy for wanting a man to do things for me, like take care of me? Am I crazy for wanting to have a deep emotional conversation? I have not found a partner like that. I've only found that in friendships, which I really appreciate. I love that. I love my girls, but I have not found that with a man. And that's hard. I'm a lover girl. I want to be in a relationship, obviously, but I don't want to be desperate and like settle for a shitty guy. I do that all too often, and I hate seeing my friends do it, but then I go and do it myself. But I don't want to beat up on myself too much. Another thing that I have really sat with and evaluated this past year has been with my spirituality. I don't know if there's a higher power out there. I would like to think that there's a higher power. Maybe that higher power is me in like some alternate universe. But I also struggle with the whole manifestation thing and everything that is on social media. If you just think about this, it's going to happen for you. Yeah, maybe in some cases, but I don't think that things just fall into your lap all the time. I think that you have to work for it. For instance, I have this one friend, and shout out to you, you know who you are. He really was trying his first couple of years in real estate, and he just felt like he was ready to give up and try something different. And then he joined this brokerage, and he had this great opportunity to really hustle. And now this guy's like making millions. He's selling, and some of the properties that he's selling are just phenomenal. He worked for that. He's got this nice car now. He's living life, and you have to work for the things that you want sometimes. So that's what I believe. I don't believe things just fall into your lap. I think you have to work for them and put it out there too. I don't want to say my biggest focus right now is relationships, but it is something that I would like to work towards. Another thing that I hate, that I've realized that is so annoying that spiritual people talk about, is the whole if you're not healed, you're not going to attract a healed partner. If you're not this way, what makes you think that you're going to get a good partner? No, wrong. Sometimes people will love you through your dark times, and you heal through love and relationships. I don't think you have to be a certain way to be loved. Yeah, relationships are work in a way. Actually, I do think they're a lot of work because they take up a lot of brain capacity, and it can overpower my brain sometimes. I'm tired of that. They should just like me because they like me and they think I'm cool and they think I'm ambitious and funny because I think that about myself. And you know, a couple years ago, I would have a hard time saying that and being like, I don't want to sound vain, but girl, you're not sounding vain, you're sounding confident. I have to like restate that to myself. I know that my partner is going to love me for me, and they're going to see me and they're going to be like, yeah, she's cool. I want to take care of her. I want her on my arm. She's funny. She's funnier than me because I've always been funnier than all my partners. Although I want to date someone funny. That's important to me. But I really need to let go of the outcome of things and just let life take its course. I want to control things so bad. I have such a hard time with that. I don't know if it's because I'm like the oldest sister or just because like I've had trauma in my life, but I am always thinking into the future. And I know in this episode I probably am doing that a lot, but I need to let go of expectations And sometimes things don't turn out the way that you want them to for good reason. And I just think back to previous relationships, like, thank God I didn't end up with some of you guys. No offense, you're your own person, but you would not have satisfied me. And I do have high standards. And I've had guys tell me, like, the guy that you want is not out there. That's gonna be impossible to find. The guy that you want, what the, Nikki, you're high maintenance. You're too much. You're too much of this. You're boring. If you want to settle for someone boring, go for it. I don't care. I don't think I'm asking for very much. I haven't even talked about wanting a guy that's wealthy. I just want a guy that will be genuine and take care of me and is nice. Tall. Dark and handsome. Doberman energy. I love a provider. That's all. I keep saying that. I don't need to repeat myself. You get the point. I'm going a little bit off track, and I'm sorry this episode is all over the place. I'm trying to catch you guys up as best as possible. But honestly, my last year was not that exciting. The beginning of the year was a little bit interesting, though. I decided that I wanted to go back into coffee, but I didn't want to go back into bikini coffee. So I started working for this small business, which, by the way, I'm sorry, small businesses. You are so hard to work for. Like, you guys be doing illegal shit all the time. You guys are always finding loopholes and taking advantage. It's lawless. So I started working for this coffee shop, right? And then I started going live on TikTok, and I started gaining a following that way and getting more and more popular. And with that, people were starting to contact me, find my information, do things that were not okay. And I had this one person reach out and make a fake review about me because they were jealous or something like that. I don't really know why this person did what they did, but I also fell victim to sextortion. If you don't know what sextortion is, it's where they try to extort you for money by either threatening to send out your nudes to your family members or 6 people you know. In my case, they said that they were going to send money to 6, or if I didn't send money, they were going to send videos of me to 6 people they know. I know my stuff is out on the internet, but in this situation, I got really duped. And this case is moving so fucking slow. I honestly don't think that they're going to find the person that did this to me. Hi, this is Nikki in editing. I'm jumping in real fast. I was advised not to tell the story of what happened to me, but to sum it up, I was a victim of sextortion. So I text my boss and I'm like, hey, I had a situation come up. I'm going to be late for work probably. So I go down to the police station and I file a report. And then it gets sent to the FBI. And now it's in their hands, and they're handling it, whatever. I told my boss about it. And a couple days later, I mentioned before, a review gets posted about me. It was totally fake. The review was basically like, I asked for oat milk, and she gave me 2% milk, or something like that. We did not carry 2% milk at that coffee shop. But they said that in the review, and they named me. And I'm like, I've been a barista for 6+ years. I do not fuck up drinks like that. It was like a latte, a vanilla latte. It's not hard to fuck up a latte, especially if you've been in the industry for 6 years. And so my boss illegally fires me. She knows I have a case open, and we don't know if this person that wrote the review was that person. And she goes, hey, girl, like, I can't have your situation affecting my business anymore, so I'm going to have to let you go. Okay, do you not realize that it's fucking illegal to do that? I'm a protected class. I have a case open. Whatever. I accepted it. It was what it was. You lost a good employee, girl. I work fucking hard, and it was really disappointing too. I was having a lot of fun. I was picking up shifts for people. I go above and beyond in my work. I'm a very hard worker. I hustle. And people, my customers like me. Yeah, that sucked because I was like making not the best money doing coffee, but I was making good money on TikTok and it was fun. I had a lot of people in my life. It was just exciting. And so to have that taken away was really frustrating for me. And so I'm like, Okay, well, this is just a sign that I need to open up my own coffee trailer. And I'm going to say fuck you to that person. Yeah, that really hurt my ego and pissed me off at the same time. I was really frustrated because I really felt like my social media career was taking off in that way. And I tried so hard to find a new niche. I was like, maybe if I play video games online with people that I can save up for my coffee stand, they'll continue to watch my lives. No, not really. I tried to do cooking lives. Those did okay, but it wasn't doing the numbers that I was when I was working at the coffee stand. And by the way, it didn't take away from my work at all. I was still doing everything that I was supposed to. I was still prioritizing being at work. And it got people in. People were like, oh my God, I didn't realize you were back in coffee. And they would come and visit me. But I have a new job now. I have a different job, actually. It's completely different. It's a really fun job. I love this job. So after that, I really felt lost. I was like, oh my God, no, I don't really have a huge source of income anymore. And so I was trying to find ways to do things. I reignited my OnlyFans and started doing OnlyFans for a little bit. And I hated it. I was just like, I can't keep doing this. And then I was over analyzing and I'm like, oh my God, maybe that's why I don't have a partner is because I do OnlyFans. So I quit. I quit doing OnlyFans. The money was good, but it was not worth it. I hated having to perform in that way and be a certain way and do certain things. I don't like being told what to do. I'm sure you're picking up on that right now, but maybe in a relationship, I don't know. But I, yeah, I just completely let everything burn to the ground. And then I worked for another small business that was all right. I don't really have anything negative to say, but it was not a job that I was excited to go to. I just went there for the paycheck, did what I had to do. And then that fell through, and then I got a good job opportunity doing something different, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I worked odd jobs here and there, and I still continue to do that, and I'm still figuring out what I want to do in the long run. I guess I should just say I know that I want to do social media. It's just really hard to pick up and build a following, and so that's what I'm going to try and focus on this year. I'm going to try and take time to figure out what I want my brand to be and just go for it. I've been yapping a lot through this episode. I hate that word. I hope this caught you guys up a little bit with what's been going on the past year. Like I said, nothing really exciting happened. I guess you could count the sextortion thing. That's kind of like, it's not exciting, but it was like a big situation that happened. But yeah, this year I had a lot of time to sit and figure out things for myself, work on my mental health, and figure out the things that I really enjoy. And I just like having fun. I love being with my friends. I'm an extrovert, even though I've been an introvert for the past year and a half. But I'm ready to take on whatever is next for me. And I think that's going to be working a lot and hopefully watching my social media career take off. But I'm really excited to be back and sharing more with you guys. And I have a lot of episodes coming up, so stay tuned for that. I have everything outlined and ready for you guys. I have a pretty big episode coming up that's going to be vulnerable, and I hinted at it a little bit in this episode. So there's Easter eggs in this episode if you want to go back and listen. It's going to be quite the episode, and it's taken me almost 3 years to talk about and feel comfortable talking about and feel safe talking about and feel healed. And it may have to do with relationships. Like, you guys know I love relationships. Maybe I'll do a couple episodes about that. But thank you guys so much for listening. I know I was all over the place, so thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen. And if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Okay, love you. Bye.